Hey friends, Kylie here, your host of Dream On with Kylie Oemiller, back for another episode with one of the leaders of our sport, someone who I'm grateful to have as a Team USA teammate, and a fellow entrepreneur taking the lacrosse world by storm. Thank you as always for tuning in. These episodes are recorded from a live Zoom webinar that I hold through the KO17 Lacrosse app and are constructed into this Dream On podcast that you have found here. I hope you are gaining some insight from these episodes from some of the people that I have met throughout my lacrosse journey that have imposed so much of their wisdom on me. If you're loving our episodes so far, show us some love in the reviews and rate us 5 stars. Also, be sure to SUBSCRIBE. It would mean the world to us. All right, we've got another special guest this week, and I am so pumped to get right into it. Meg Douty is this episode's guest, and I am so excited for you all to have an inside listen into what makes her so great. She is one of the most accomplished players in history as a defender. She has 2 national championships, 2 world championships, a professional championship, her own club program, and her own training business. Beat that. Meg Douty sure won't let you. She's one of the most competitive people you'll meet. She's always leveling up her game to reach her benchmarks that she's set for herself. We talk a little bit about that in this episode. And she's continuously retreating back to her ultimate love for lacrosse when the going gets tough and when she needs some inspiration. She shares some incredible tips when it comes to recruiting processes, finding balance in managing multiple priorities, and what it takes to win as many championships as she has. Let's get into it with the one and only Meg Douty. All right, welcome to another episode of the Dream On podcast. I'm Kylie Oemiller. Today we have someone who is one of my teammates from the last couple of years, and I'm so excited to have her. Megan Douty is on the Dream On pod. She's from Fairhaven, New Jersey. She's a 2-time national champion when she played at Maryland. She was a Tewaaraton finalist at Maryland. She's a 2-time world champion with Team USA, this most recently being this past summer in 2022. She's also a professional. She has a professional championship with the New England Command in the WPLL. She's a professional lacrosse player and a member of the player executive committee with AU Pro Lacrosse. And she is also the director and co-owner of All Lax in New Jersey. Meg, welcome to the Dream On pod. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Kai. I appreciate you inviting me on. I'm excited to chat it up on the Dream Pod.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so something we like to start off on is we like to start off on a good foot. And for those of us listening, we're recording this on a Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. It's December 7th, 2022. So we kind of like to get into like your headspace of where you are right now as we're recording. So there's 3 little pieces to that. And I'd like to know something that you are thankful for today, Meg.
Well, obviously after like Thanksgiving, just a couple, weeks ago, definitely just thankful for where I am in life and business, have my health, family, friends, and, just grateful for all the support throughout the years from all of them and allowing me to succeed not only in life personally and through my business simultaneously. It's been a crazy many years post-college and without that support from family, friends, and in this life, the success would never have come.
I love that. Definitely a different life path that we've chosen, right? So I love that you're shouting out your circle. All right, I know it's super early, but what is something that you're proud to say that you've accomplished today so far?
Today? Let's say, so this morning I was like, let me get some stuff done. So I got some emails done early, and just like busy work, like as we have like all these different programs kind of coming up throughout this winter. So just trying to get a handle on like registrations and whatnot and just get a little organized. But yeah, I've checked a few boxes this morning, which makes me feel good.
Yeah, always makes me feel good to get the busy work out of the way first, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good for you. I do not have that under my belt, so I'll be doing that after this recording.
Yeah. Maybe a cup of coffee you had or something. That check a box. Get your dog outside.
Amazing. All right, last but not least, what is something that you're pumped to go out and chase? Could be, with the rest of this week, maybe the rest of this year, maybe it's in the coming years. What's something that you're pumped to chase?
That's a good question. don't know. That's something that I definitely want to maybe not chase, but something that's the plan is like a nice vacation of some sort. Like I haven't had like the chance to just like go and relax and do something somewhere. And my family generally tries to like once a year, like after the holidays, go travel somewhere, somewhere warm, get out of the cold winters in New Jersey. But obviously, as we're getting older, things are changing. We're not all living in the same place, so it's challenging. And then obviously with the U.S. team training, playing, that can get really, really tough with obviously scheduling and downtime and whatnot. So that would be something I would like to try to fit in with our busy schedules, where
I like
you're
that.
entrepreneurs and you always feel like there's something to do.
Yes, yeah, and actually be able to go away and just relax and not have
Just
to
turn it off.
Yeah,
Turn it
just
off.
completely turn it off. Well, I
Yeah.
hope that's in your future too, and hopefully it's there soon. I have trouble with that too, so I will I'll let you know if I figure it out before
Yeah,
you.
good.
So
Yeah, you
let
tell me.
know. You
Yeah.
let me know as well. But I love that. Okay, let's tap into your lacrosse journey a little bit. So, you grew up in New Jersey, you still live there now.
Yep.
And I just learned this the other week actually at a USA Lacrosse fundraiser that we went to together, but you played hockey growing up. Were there other sports that you played growing up? And, did you have siblings that you like to play with or friends that you grew up with playing sports with? And then how did you ultimately find lacrosse too?
Yeah, awesome. I have two brothers. One is 4.5 years older, and then one's my twin. He's 1 minute older. So yes, we played sports together. We competed every single day. It could get really bad. Neither of us like to lose. So yeah, you could just imagine what the household kind of looked like. We played every sport. So my parents made sure that we, had the opportunity to play really anything. We started probably playing soccer. Then we did some gymnastics. I just remember doing like popcorn on the trampoline, really nothing crazy. And then, we did like t-ball. We played tennis. We played golf, and ice hockey in the winter. So I used to play with my brother with the boys until I think I got like checked too hard, and my brother like took the guy out after that happened. And my mom was like, "You're not playing with the boys anymore." So that was the end of that for the boys, but then I played with the girls like consistently through high school, which was fun. And yeah, so lacrosse came into my life after one season of softball. I think third grade I played softball, and my mom like watched me like playing in the dirt or playing in the grass because it was just so boring, like there's no action. And then she heard that the rec program was going to add lacrosse. And she's like, "I heard it's really fast. I think it would be really good for you." And I fell in love with it. Fourth grade, haven't turned back, obviously. It was a great mix of all the sports that we've played. Fourth grade was when there was no out of bounds. It was just crazy in how it's developed throughout these years. So yeah, that's where it started. And my brother played as well, so we would play in the yard, and a great community of friends, whether we were playing like with the year younger, a year older, like created great relationships with girls of many ages and girls I'm still in touch with today.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right?
Exactly.
And so you mentioned something about like your town teams and everything, playing up, playing down, all those different communities and everything. When did you start playing club? Who did you play for? And when did you kind of realize like, hey, this might be like my go-to sport. This might be something that I can make a future out of and potentially go to college for.
Yeah, so like lacrosse just wasn't really known in my area. So like I didn't watch it. I didn't know like any college, like I didn't know much about the sport really. I just loved it. And it was just becoming really popular. And the girls that I played soccer with would play lacrosse. It's always just, that's how it kind of flows, is you kind of see what your friends are doing, or older kids, or friends of a friend, whatever. So I think I was in 8th grade when we heard about like travel lacrosse. Like we called it travel lacrosse.
Yeah.
And then I didn't learn until I was at Maryland that it's called club. It's club.
I call it
So I was like,
travel.
yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so I played for T3. It was like the only club in town. And so we played there. It was like summer. It was like just summer, and then they added in some fall. But I just knew that I liked it the most. Like I after any time I played soccer, or even if I played hockey, like I would always want to go back outside and play lacrosse after. Like it's just how I knew that I liked it the most, is that I was always going back to it, even when I was in a different season with a different sport. So I never thought that, like in 8th grade, I wasn't like, I'm going to go play in college. It was more so like, I really like playing lacrosse and it's really fun and I want to keep playing it. And I want to do it more than just in the spring. So, and it wasn't like a crazy commitment at the time. So it was great, like timing for my family as well. Having a brother too. So he also played and did the travel route for a little bit as well. So it was just kind of worked out in our schedules. And then when it came to like high school, I just remember like I wanted to make varsity. So that was my goal as a freshman. I would love to make varsity. So that's all I really focused on was, can I get on that team? And once that happened, it's like, well, now I really want to play. Like, I don't want to just be on the team. Like I want to play. So I just kept working and practicing and doing everything I could to get better for that goal. And then when that happened, like the following year is like, well, like now I want to, compete, win championships, like with this team. And there's all these friends that I've made along the way, whether they were 3 years older as seniors or girls that I've played sports with from middle school and on, like those connections were so special. Like there's nothing like making or going to like a team as a freshman and having all those different years of people to meet and immediate friends and connections. Like I'll never forget walking down the halls as a freshman and being like, oh my God, like these seniors know me. This is pretty neat. Like I feel really special. And sport makes like your life so great in those just little moments, the things that you're never going to forget, the people you'll never forget. So, and I just love being around the girls. Like, I'm sure you guys did the same thing. There's pasta parties pregame. And like, I remember I was talking to some of the girls that we train currently about like, they played a song on the stereo. It was like High School Musical song or Camp Rock or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, like I watched this in high school, like at a pasta party. Like this is aging me with these kids that probably were like barely born. Like literally, it's like, it's wild, but just like things you'll never forget. It's so fun. But yeah, going through high school and like even the club scene, I wasn't like, I want to go to college to play. It was more like, is it possible? It was never like an expectation, or I just always was like, I just want to get better with these different little stages through my high school. And that's what I think has helped me continue to get to where I am today. I had these little benchmarks that I could reach and continue to get me motivated because I could accomplish them a little sooner than being like, I want to be on the national team, like, and that was never a thought in my mind going through my high school. We also didn't know much about that and how to do that. Like I never knew about like U19. It just wasn't around and you couldn't access it. So that was just different. So I guess through my junior year, it kind of got a little bit more real, the recruiting, and it was possible, there was interest and all this stuff. So I obviously was just following what was there. I wasn't necessarily like I was doing all the work. I was reaching out to schools and all that stuff though. I was cutting my own film. or like, at least like my dad, I remember, would like videotape games in high school, and I would like go through it, write down all the times. We sent it out to someone to cut it for us. We had it on CDs or DVDs. Like I didn't have YouTube to do it, or I didn't know how to get it on YouTube. So it's like we had CDs, and so I was sending things out through that way. It's like, wow, this is like freaking old stuff. Like this wasn't like easy. Nowadays you can just, on your phone, whatever. So
just clip it up real quick and send
click
it
it
out.
up, and there you go. Here's the highlight. It's so easy now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like going through the process was more of just like, I can't believe I could go and play in college. Like this is a privilege that I can continue to play.
I love that. I love that mindset. Right. And I think that's something that I think we need a little bit more of, nowadays, because there's so much hype around, committing early or committing to the biggest schools or the best schools. And there's just so much pressure around it. So the fact that you were able to just focus inward and be like, hey, what's my personal next benchmark and what'll come from that? I think that's a really great lesson to those listening out there who might be going through something similar.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Taking a quick little time out from our episode here to say a massive thank you for listening. Dream On started off as a way to have conversations with some of the people that I've been lucky to come in contact with and really dig deep into what makes them tick and how they've become so elite in their spaces. If you're enjoying these conversations as much as I have been, please consider rating us with a solid 5 stars and leave us a review. I love hearing all of your incredible thoughts on how we can continue to dream on together with these episodes. Oh, and subscribe if you're feeling cool. All right, let's get back to our guest. So when did Maryland come knocking on your door? And how did you know that the University of Maryland was going to be your spot and you were going to become a 2-time national champion, a war-time finalist as a defender? I know you didn't know these things when you committed, but how did you know that Maryland was going to be the school for you?
Yeah, so Maryland was never on the radar, like from the beginning. Junior year was the time that I ended up committing, but it wasn't until probably spring. But I was following my peers, right? So the older players that were going off to school, like my old teammates. Where did they go? Where did they look? How did their process go? We didn't know. This is my family. I'm the only person in my family that's played a sport in college. So it's never really, it was foreign territory, right? So we were just trying to follow and get advice from anyone. We were trying just, whatever we could. So I had a few visits, a few different schools at the time. I thought, I think I'm going to be a physical therapist. I love working with athletes, helping them. And I still love PT and, what they do, I think is incredible, but ended up not being for me. But anyway, so at the time I wanted to be a physical therapist. So I wanted to make sure I could explore that in college. And the schools I was going to, there was something about the school that I didn't love the area, the campus, or they didn't have that opportunity to study PT or a route in that way on campus. So this was probably like fall, winter, my junior year. And I went to my coach and was like, I think I could go somewhere else. Like these schools that I'm talking to, I just don't think are for me. And I want to explore some other schools. Like, can we reach out to a few? So I just kind of looked up some schools that had that major or had that route or something. And my coach made some calls or, sent some emails, whatever it is. And a few reached back out saying, oh no, like we're full. And I guess he left a message to the University of Maryland, and Kathy sent me an email. It was like, oh, your coach left a really nice email. We'd love to see some film. So at the time, again, back to this DVD thing, I'm like, what do? I only have a CD. She needs it today. So we somehow got it online. We sent it to her. And they're like, all right, great. Let's have you come down to our clinic. So like, all right, well, so went down for a clinic and saw the school, and we had a meeting, and it kind of just progressed. And eventually they were like, well, right now we're not really looking for anyone else, like you're on our list and there's a spot for you if you want it. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. This is probably spring. I think I probably went down for like a clinic overnight after communicating throughout the winter or whatever it was. And it was great. I mean, at school is also very big, probably bigger than I imagined I would be at a school, but you make it so small. Like, and then just talking to Kathy and Kenneth and Quinn at the time, she was the other assistant, like the way they worked with each other, the way they worked with the girls, it just seemed like such a special place. And like, they seemed like really, really genuine human beings and people that like I could just see myself around. The girls on the team, I felt like I really connected with them, and just like, it just felt so right. And I was like, well, like, this is big time lacrosse. Like, let you know, like, I don't know much about lacrosse, like, and like the school, but I was like, it just felt like this is where I need to be. So they gave me the opportunity and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, there's no way I would play. I'm like, maybe my junior year, but like, this is a competitive team. Like, this is where I need to be. So I was like, all right, sign me up. So commit in the spring. It was like the happiest thing. It was awesome. It was just like, it's a sense of relief. Like, it's over,
Right.
So that was the long-winded way of how I kind of ended up at Maryland.
Yeah.
Not the norm for sure.
No, and I think that's important that you went through every detail, because there's so many similarities between a lot of people out there that are trying to find their home, right? They're trying to find their home
Yep.
school. So that's really great that one, you were able to have the conversation with your coach and say, I think I can do better, or I think I can do somewhere else, right? And that conversation is really, really important rather than straying away from it. And then just being able to take a leap of faith and be like, okay, like, let me try this out. This might feel like, like the best lacrosse I've ever seen, but I know that's gonna like challenge me, right? And I think that's really, really awesome. I think it worked out too.
I can't believe it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about next, right? So now fast forward a year, you're playing at Maryland, you're a freshman. What were some of those kind of norms, like you were talking about, that were part of the culture at Maryland, part of the people that you really kind of like, really loved being around, right? The team, the atmosphere, the culture. What was some of that like that really like helped you, become the player that you were? Some of those things that really stand out to you about like Maryland culture.
Yeah. We always say like Maryland lacrosse, right? So it's just, I guess it's something different. I don't know anything different, right? As a college experience. But I just remember like the first day, with everyone, like the first thing that Kathy, Kenneth, and Quinn are sharing is we're all equal. There's no hierarchy of senior down to freshman. We are all like, it's not high school. We are all here for a reason. We're here to make each other better. We're here to compete at that national championship level. And we have these goals and we're going to do that all together. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a senior to a freshman, like we are going to be the best that we can be as a unit. And we're, if you're not on the same page, like obviously this isn't for you, but like, this is how it's going to be run. And I think just that respect from the get-go, like no one felt like inferior to another regarding your age. Like it was just like you respected the person next to you and you competed. Like every time we went to practice, like the expectation is we're competing and making each other better, and that's it. And I think like we made the most of our time. Like we didn't practice for hours and hours and hours. It was maybe 2. And we got as much out of it as we could for that time. And then we went to our classes or we went to lift or whatever we had that day. Like we didn't like harp on like making everything perfect, but as long as we were giving our all, like we were eventually, going to get better or accomplish the goal that we were looking for, what have you. So I think that was what's super special about Maryland lacrosse culture, is just like that respect and what was created. And Kathy being an alum, knowing like what Maryland is about, the school in general, like understanding both the social side and, you know, the lacrosse side and how it can be so fun. Like the culture outside of playing lacrosse was also super inviting and fun. Like they made sure that all the freshmen from the beginning were being invited to, you know, be with us, hang with all the, you know, sophomores, juniors, seniors every weekend. And it was just, you know, like I said before, like you're making so many friends in the first year. It's just like, it's a ton of fun. And I think building those relationships off the field made it so much easier and better when we were competing on the field.
I like that.
And so, I mean, we say that a lot, but it's so important. You just feel so comfortable when you're playing, you know, so, and you just understand like your teammates on a different level, you know?
Yeah. And you almost respect them more, right? Like you're able to kind of like turn it on and off. You're on the field, you're competing so that you can ultimately make each other better, like you said, right? For the common goal. And then the second that practice ends, it's like, okay, we're friends again because we were just able to push each other. I think the best friendships I have too are the same way, are the ones that are going to tell me how it is or push me to a new level because I know that those people have my best interest in mind. Right. So I think that's really cool that you had that as a full, you know, team culture and it was just everywhere. And that's probably what made you guys and still makes you guys so successful. What do you think is one of the like main traditions or like fun little things that you can think about when it comes to Maryland lacrosse? Maybe it's in the locker room or in a huddle before a game or on a bus trip, in hotels, at a restaurant, whatever it might be, something that you can remember from your time at Maryland that was like just one of those little traditions and very unique. So for example, for us at Stony Brook, every away trip we had, the night before the game, we would always go to like an Italian restaurant and get Italian food. And the coaching staff, every time we went out, would pick a random person on the team for it to be their birthday, quote unquote.
Amazing.
So the restaurant would, you know, bring over the birthday dessert, but no one would know whose birthday it was. It was really never anyone's birthday, but it was someone's birthday every time.
Oh, I love that. The spotlight. I mean, always a team meal, obviously. One of the places, if we had like a home game and it was like afternoon, we'd always go to Bagel Place. Rest in peace. It's actually gone. After, I don't know how many years it was in business, but it was like the best I mean, granted, we're in Maryland, you know, but like, it was like pretty good, like for, you know, Maryland bagels. Can
you tell you're listening to two Long Island, New Jersey girls right now talking about Maryland?
Right, exactly. I know. It was pretty good, but you know, you'd go up, you get your ticket, and like something that we like, you wanted to get your number, right? So like sometimes, you know, you would get 5 or you would get, you know, your number, and it was like, it's gonna be a good day, you know, like, and there's so many of us, obviously 30 something, you know, what are the chances that you're gonna get, one of us is gonna end up getting your number as the thing. But I just remember everyone being like, got my number today, it's gonna be a good day. But yeah, that was always a tradition going there. Whenever we went to Long Island, we always went to an Italian restaurant. I forget what it's called. I'm kind of kicking myself right now.
That's okay. I will. We'll connect on that. We'll have to put it.
Yeah, someone. But one like tradition that is consistent, it's not like pre-game, but we would in fall ball we would play Terp Olympics. Ooh. So it was like every Friday, or I think it was every Friday, we would play a different sport. So it was like volleyball, soccer, we played football, basketball, dodgeball, and we would just be split up on teams, and those are your teams for the season of Terp Olympics. And it was awesome, like a day to not play lacrosse and just like compete, and it was just as intense as a practice, obviously, because we're so competitive. But those are some of my fondest memories. I mean, like, you'd even talk about it on the weekend after, you know, you'd still be like bummed that you lost, or you'd still be pumped up that you won, you know? So those were really fun memories because obviously you want to make sure you're having fun playing lacrosse. Like that's the most important thing. So having a break from it like gets you the ability to keep, playing, training, whatever. But connecting with your team and having fun and feeling like it's not a stressful day, but you're still getting something out of it. So that was awesome and definitely one of my favorites.
I love that. I think I've definitely seen some things on Instagram the last couple of years about the Olympics. I would definitely choose you to be on my team because we had some of those games with Team USA with Jenny giving some of those games. So I can imagine that's where your skills come from in that. And
God,
I was the only one to strike out in our offhanded baseball game. So
that was really hard.
I went first, okay?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I can't believe you did.
And then literally every single person made contact with the ball except for me after that.
Oh my God.
I'll never forget it.
No, oh my God.
Okay, so speaking of US lacrosse, you went on to become a, really incredible staple of Team USA, of the national team, and also playing professionally. So what would you say is like, how did you become that freshman that you went from the freshman that stepped on Maryland's campus to, post collegiately playing professionally and, on the national team? Where did, was it the continuous work ethic, the continuous benchmarks that you were talking about? And where does, kind of that all come from? What is your journey in going from that freshman moment to, national team 2-time world champion moment?
Yeah. So I think my mindset, like going into my freshman year in college, like similar to what you were just talking about with the benchmarks, is like, well, I'm committing to this school. I probably won't play to my junior year, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So I'm going to do everything I can to put myself in the best position to, compete and play against these awesome athletes. And so not having that pressure on myself of like needing and wanting to play, but more so of like, I'm going to do my best to try to get there, allowed me to stay really motivated and, push myself in training, work on the run tests, like control what I could control, right? I can't control the other players and their natural talents and skills, but I can control, my stick work. I can control my strength, conditioning, endurance, all that stuff. So I came in like ready to go. I wanted to pass the run test, which was a Manchester-esque run test. So I wanted to make sure that as a freshman, I could do that. Also didn't want to be in the run club that I found out afterwards was all about, which does not seem fun. And I just like, I've always been like super competitive. So like, I'm always giving my best in every drill. I'm always competing with the person next to me. Like, that's how I've always been. So that wasn't going to stop in college. And so I actually was a midi coming out of high school, like a lot of us do. I took the draw in high school. And like, I was definitely timid on the field as an offensive player. Like I always cared more about the defensive side because you don't have the ball, so you can't control that, right? You can control it when you have possession. So I always was like the last one coming over the 30s. I'm like, is everyone good? Is everyone okay? I'll come over now. Like there's no shot clock and I don't have to worry about pushing the ball. So like that was always my focus. I want to be the first mini back in, whatever. So they saw that like probably like the first 2 days was like, yep, you're probably going to be a defender. So no stress, but like, let me just try my best to stop my opponent. So I've always worked on like my speed and agility, quickness, change of directions and stuff. So that like could definitely help me in the position. And it was definitely the right place for me. Just because of like my mentality with playing, like I cared more about that side of the ball. So once I transitioned there was recent graduates. So there were opportunities to make that roster spot, I guess. But I don't think I knew like I was playing with some of the older girls, and like I wasn't told like you're starting.
Right.
Like I was the first number called out of the lineup to like run through our like little tradition of running through sticks. And I was like, did they just call my name? And they're like, go. I was like, what? I had no idea.
Wow.
First game.
You think they did that on purpose? Just give
No, but like I think they thought I knew because I was playing with like the starting D. Or just like I don't know. Like they didn't say anything. It's just like Megan, you're in, or Douty, they would call me. But yeah, and I like, you know, it gets loud, so I just didn't hear my name, and they're like, they just go. I was like, what do you? I was like, ah. Yeah, exactly. So then like, yeah, so it was great. I was like, this, like, you know, all my hard work paid off. So, you know, through obviously, you know, the big goal for Maryland's winning championships. ACC at the time was my first three years were in the ACC, and then my senior year were in the Big Ten. So it was just like, that's the next goal, is like, we want to win as a team. So like, that's all I cared about, just getting better, making each other better. Like I wasn't worried about any personal accolades, because, you know, if the team's doing well, you know, we're doing well, and individually we're doing well. So like that will come. That was never on my radar to like focus on that. And I think as a defender, it can be easier because it is so team focused. And like your job has to be so united, not like offense isn't, but it just makes it, you know, you're getting scored on. So it's like, you know, it stinks. So it's like, it's not really a big deal, like to have those moments getting scored on, but you know, being together as a unit just makes it easier with that it just makes playing easier, makes each other look better and all that stuff. And I think that was something that we said a lot. It was like, let's make each other look good, whether it was on offense or defense. Like, don't throw a concussion pass if they're not open. Like, don't, you know, but if it's something you can get to, like you make your teammate look good by going and change your speed or change your direction or stop or quickly speed up or reach for it or dive for the ball, whatever you need to do, like make each other look good instead of like looking back at them like, what was that pass? Like if you could have gotten it, you know, like you catching it looks really good, and also makes your teammate like, thank God he caught that ball, because I would have turned the ball over. But but leading into, it was my junior year, Kathy was like, you should probably try out for the national team. I was like, whoa, okay. So it was me and Alice. At the time we both went. Taylor was already there. Kelly was in the system too, McPartland. So there was a lot of Terps there. So it made me feel comfortable, you know. But I was like, well, there's no way. Like, this is cool. There's like over 100 people at this tryout. Yeah. Really, really tough. Even Kylie McFadden was our coach at the time, so she was there too. So it was just like good support, you know, like you felt comfortable. Of course, you go right to your what you know, which is, you know, your team. So try out, make the team. Wow, this is awesome. And just like, you know, continue to just try to compete and play. And that's all I really cared about. Like after college, winning national championships, that's great, but I didn't want to stop, right? A lot of players don't have the privilege to continue to play. College is the last of it. And whether their experience was what they wanted or dreamed of is here or there. And not everyone gets to have an experience where they look back on and are like, this was the most incredible experience ever. Like I say, so I'm lucky, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Like you had a great career, you know, so you can look back on it with happy times and all that stuff, but we're not all privileged to do that or to continue to play. But yeah, like I've touched on throughout my high school, and same thing with college. It's like I did have these little benchmarks of like, again, like I want to make, or not only do I want to commit to Maryland, I want to play. Right. So once that happened, it's like, let's just keep competing, right? I want to win national championships. And then once Kathy's like, you know, try out for the US team, I was like, well, I would definitely want to make this team. Like, this is a dream. Like ever since a kid, you're like, I want to play in the Olympics, right? Too bad, lacrosse. I picked the sport.
We're getting there.
But
We're getting
soon.
No, I think that's such a cool piece too, because I always think about it, right? When people say, when you were younger, like, did you ever hope to be on the national team? And to your point earlier in the conversation, it was like, I didn't really quite know about the national team, right? Like until maybe later on. I think it was actually when I was pretty much 18 and I was like, wait, why did I not try out for the U19 team that I'm watching on, on the YouTube channel? Like, wait, what's going on? That was like my first kind of like experience with it, other than one or two other like in USA Lacrosse magazine, like things that came out the door. So it's funny because like when we were younger, it wasn't ever like, I want to play for Team USA Lacrosse. Like we just didn't really know about that. It was just more so, I want to play for Team USA, like
exactly.
Olympics. Like I just love sports. And I think that's a really cool thing that you just said, because I totally resonate with it. It's just like, I loved watching the Olympics. I loved watching Michael Phelps. I was like, always like, I want to be in that position, but didn't know how to do it. So.
Hey guys, Kylie here. A short break from our conversation to remind you to check in on our social channels. You can find little snippets from our episodes on Instagram at dream.on_pod. And if you're a lacrosse stud looking for a unique way to train and develop into the best version of yourself, like our guest here most definitely has, check out the KO17 Lacrosse app in the App Store. That's KO17 Lacrosse. And at DREAM_ON_POD on Instagram. Come join the fam and we can keep dreaming on together. Okay, enough of that. We back.
I guess fast forward now, right? You make the 2017 World Cup team. What was that experience like for you? Your first World Championship over in England, and then getting to win gold with that crew. What was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, obviously new to me, but making the team was surreal. I remember driving to, it was like driving to work or something. I think it was like kind of rainy. It was late. So I was like, Ricky called me and I didn't have Bluetooth in my car. So I was like, I can't answer this right now. Whatever the like answer is, I just can't be on it. And so he left a voicemail. I read it in the parking lot. All right, I listened to it in the parking lot and he was like, congratulations, like, wow. Give me a call back when you're done. I was like, I'm so excited. I obviously called him back and it was like so awesome. But I remember running into it was my business partner Alex's gym at the time. We were training some girls and I was like, I just made the team. And it was just like really cute that these little lacrosse players were also there and or just these young athletes or whatever. But it was just like really neat experience. Playing in England was awesome. We were there for a while just to get like acclimated and like just to be together and kind of build rapport and whatnot as the team, because it's not like we get to be together that long. As like once the team is named, we don't really have the opportunity, so playing over there, really cool. The opening ceremonies was really neat. We got to be with with all the different teams all lined up, having the chance to talk with them, get to know them, take pictures, and then like walking through the stadium, like with just everyone around, it was just surreal, or waving the flag, it was like incredible to have that chance to wear the red, white, and blue and like represent your country, something I will definitely never forget. And then of course, playing and eventually like winning, like it was just incredible. I mean, obviously a different game than what we've played, different kind of setup, but the same rainy game against Canada essentially is like deja vu.
Isn't that crazy?
I know,
5 years
but
later.
I know, but it was like, yeah, just to think like in 2022, it's like, well, we've done this before in the rain, so we can do it again. But yeah,
that's what I was going to ask. How do you go from, 2017, you win your first world championship, and then pushing through the last couple of years, the last 5 or 6 years, right? That came to be the 2022 world championship, and no longer a rookie on the USA team, right? More so a veteran coming from that 2017 gold medal. What was the differences there when you attacked your training on your own or even came to training camp? Like, what were some of the things you started to focus on in between 2017 and 2022?
Yeah. So great question, because they were completely different and obviously, further apart. So you're in your own life, you're in a different place. So I was only 2 years out of college for the first one, in my prime, I would say, with my age and just like fitness, I would say, like, I just felt like I was in the best shape of my life probably for 2017. But 5 years later, 29 years old, just different where I am in life. Like, starting my own business at the time, it wasn't in 2017, just wasn't as big, right? It was just the starting stages of my training business and our program. So the stresses were different, right? This was my, like, I took a lot away. Like, I didn't, have as much work probably in 2017 than I did quite much in 2022. So that was the biggest challenge, the ability to keep up my training. I definitely was doing that. It just wasn't as convenient. There was more stresses because I have my own club team now in comparison to not having it in 2017. The summer of 22, we still had events and tournaments happening. And luckily I have like the best friend and business partner that's there to support me throughout the whole summer, or throughout not just the summer, but throughout the entire season. Yeah. She keeps me on point with my training, with my fitness, with my, wellness. She wants me to be the best that I can be. And, she's a great role model for me and for me to be for these girls too. But it was hard, like planning, not knowing like when it was going to be, right. Planning, having enough, just all these different stresses that kind of came into play. So it was definitely different. It was challenging. Having it in the US was different. We stressed as a team the distraction piece that could come with being at home. And that's why it's been so difficult for a home team to win, because of the ability and access our families and friends think that they can have, or right. Because they can get there, which is special in its own right, but also like, thank goodness that we prepped that, because right. It was hard. Like, you want obviously everyone and anyone to be there, because it's awesome to have that support, but it's another stress, right? So it was definitely just, just different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you talking about that, because I think like no matter what, every world championship is going to look a little different, as much as it's going to technically be the same. I think this past one was really special just because of like all of that, right? We had to wait 5 years. We weren't sure when it was because of COVID. And, as you're mentioning, right, a lot of the different distraction piece. And I think it was awesome that you were able to take your experiences with the 2017 team and bring them to what this 2022 team needed. So as a rookie world champion this year, I appreciate that and all that you did for us. So you mentioned a little bit about your training program, All Lax, and your club team now. So when you graduated college and you went into this business, what made you want to take that leap of faith and really continue on and kind of create your own thing, create your own community, and kind of take that leap into entrepreneurship?
So my family owns their own seafood business. So I'm familiar with, owning an own business and like not having like a boss. The only other job I had was just like coaching club throughout the summertime. Right. So I knew that was important. And my business partner, Alex, at the time, she had her own gym. So I was training there. I was helping her out with like coaching. And we kind of like were slowly building in like strength and conditioning and lacrosse training. So we were kind of building our training program. We were getting into some camps and clinics and just kind of building slowly off the ground. I like looked into college coaching, but I knew I wanted to be back home. And it's just, college coaching can be a lot, as you know, you didn't go that route either. So it's a grind for sure. Not like our job isn't, or our business, but it's just different in the way it works. But I knew I wanted to, help the next generation. I wanted to work with kids, and like, what I found is, or what we found before we started our club, is that the girls were coming from different programs and saying like, I'm just not liking my experience. We're doing the same stuff every single day, yada, yada, yada. So we're like, we need to make a change. And it's actually Alex who was like, at the time, 7th graders were getting committed. Okay. So I was like, I do not want to go into the club world. This is crazy. She's like, we have to, like, these girls aren't falling in love with lacrosse. Like, this is a problem. We need to help fix that. So I'm going to start a club team with or without you. And I was like,
fine.
I was like, okay, twist my arm, we're doing it. So we did. Thank God we did, because it's been like the best decision of my life, her life. She ended up closing her gym just because it's just too much to do both. But now we have a great facility where we have an indoor turf, and we also have strength and conditioning gym and coach. And it's just the best of both worlds. She doesn't have to do the coaching, but we have access to it for our girls. And that was really a priority for us, is to have that balance for these kids so that they are building strength and also, applying it to lacrosse and whatnot. So that came 2017, I believe, was like our first summer. So that would be 5. Yeah, I think that's about how long we've had our club. So this is our 3rd recruiting class, this 24 class. So yeah, we're off the ground, getting these girls to the next level. Yeah, it's been fun. And the girls that buy into it understands like the community we're building, but yeah, entrepreneurship is tough. And it's like, there's always something to do.
Yeah, like we talked about in the beginning of the conversation, right? I know, I'm just like my phone. I was telling Lizzie Colson this on our episode together. I, for whatever reason, have avoided using Do Not Disturb on my phone for years. And I just tried it out like maybe a couple months ago, and now I am obsessed with it. I have to do it all the time. I don't know why I didn't use it earlier, but it's so important. Like, just to your point about being an athlete first, right? And like your training coming first, and like prioritizing that so that you can be the player that you are, right? And be able to win world championships, and then be able to, make sure that these girls and their lacrosse experiences are also, really important as well. Like making sure that you have the time for both and prioritizing one over the other in certain moments of the day is definitely a challenge every single day. So that was just something that, for whatever reason, I just discovered.
No, that's actually a good point, because it's kind of like what you learn throughout playing sports, right? Like, you would make sacrifices. So like having a Do Not Disturb on your life would actually be helpful, because you can like do not disturb this social, like obviously like an Instagram, but like a social thing, like an event. Like you would prioritize like homework, school, obviously, then your sport, and then socialize, right? You have to find a way to balance it. And that's obviously helped me stay organized with my own personal, goals as an athlete, but in my business, and trying to stay on top of things, and trying to prioritize exactly what is needed, and, adding in the wants and like those pieces of fun, because you can do it. It's just a matter of, what are you willing to sacrifice at the time? Like right now, vacations, and
just reminding ourselves of that.
Right. We're going to chase that. Exactly. But you have to be able to find like, when can you do it? When do you need that reset? Is it a good time? Like, so, you learn that at a young age, and you get that question a lot at clinics, I'm sure, like, how did you manage your time with, like, what did you do? And you figure it out. If like a quote that I really like, if you're what is it called? If your want is strong enough, or something, what is it? Have you heard that quote before? Maybe.
No.
If your
I'm
dreams
looking
are
for a new quote from you.
it'll come to me. Maybe at the end of this, I'll have it.
Okay. Well, if it comes back, just blurt it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna look it up actually, but keep talking.
All right. So one thing that I have kind of asked a lot of our different guests on the Dream On pod, which I think is one of my new favorite questions because it forces us to talk about ourselves, which is sometimes hard. So I have gotten a lot of different things, but I can definitely talk about what I think your strengths are as a leader, because I've been very grateful to have you as a teammate and as a leader the last couple of years. But I'd like to know what you think your strength is as a leader. After you find this quote.
I'll find it. I think I tend to lead by example. I'm not the most vocal leader, and when I need to be, I will be, but I find that like by showing my work ethic, like those can follow. And just like my attitude, and I do support well with my words and whatnot, but I think that's my biggest strength. And it's changed over time. Like that was my strength through college for sure, and as a rookie and on the US team, but I felt like and then also feel like my individual connection, it might not be a big large group convo, but I can connect with teammates on a deeper level and kind of support them when needed. I can kind of sense that. So I think that is kind of one of my strengths, or two, I guess.
100%. I was going to say both of them. So I'm really glad that they align. And I don't know if you guys ever have the opportunity to go through like a ground ball drill or a one-on-one drill against Meg Douty, just leave because
God,
because her competitiveness, I'm just kidding. Don't leave, but it really like levels you up just by being there with her. And that's exactly what I was going to say, is just like you're like walk the walk, you kind of just go out there and do it, and you're competing in every little sense of the word, no matter it's AU or USA or whatever it is. And it just, as a competitive athlete as well, when you're around that, you want to level yourself up as well. Because, if Meg's giving that much, I got to give that much more so that we can ultimately, do better for this team together. Exactly. So I love that. And I appreciate you like recognizing that about yourself too, because I think it's really special.
Hey guys, Kylie here. A short break from our conversation to remind you to check in on our social channels. You can find little snippets from our episodes on Instagram at dream.on_pod. And if you're a lacrosse stud looking for a unique way to train and develop into the best version of yourself, like our guest here most definitely has, check out the KO17 Lacrosse app in the App Store. That's KO17 Lacrosse. And at DREAM_ON_POD on Instagram. Come join the fam and we can keep dreaming on together. Okay, enough of that. We back.
Okay, one of my last questions, my last question here, and then we have one question from our KO17 Lacrosse family. Okay. This is a two-part question. It's one of my favorites, and I hope you were able to find your quote because I think it'll be helpful here. But
I got it.
Okay, sweet. So what is one piece of advice from someone in your life, or maybe you just kind of took from, living life, a piece of advice or something like that you've taken into your life?
Well, this quote I like.
There you go.
If your purpose is strong enough, your how-to becomes easy.
I like that.
So like, there's always an excuse. You can always find an excuse for something, but just like we were talking about, you can sacrifice for good or bad, or it's still your choice. But if this is something, if you have a goal or you have a purpose or you have a want or you have a dream, like the how-to becomes easy. So, to rewind, this whole conversation's for a variety of ages, right? But I knew that if there was a chance for me to play in college, like I was going to try, right? I was going to do whatever I could. So, I was emailing the coaches. I was doing my research. I was, cutting the film. I was asking my parents for more and more. They never, ever were like, do you want to go to this camp? Do you want to go to this clinic? Do you want to get these highlights? None of that was from them. It was all stemming from me. Mm-hmm. And I'm very grateful for their support of whatever I wanted to do. It was never, they always asked, like, after a game, did you have fun? Mm-hmm. Like, did you play your best? Like, they knew I was already hard on myself. So like, they let me lead. And I think that quote kind of aligns with that kind of mindset, because that's all I cared about. I made sure I found the time to create the best highlight that I could. And ultimately that helped me get to where I am today. Right. Like, I don't think I would be where I am right now if I didn't have the opportunity to play at Maryland. And that didn't come from all that extra effort just because I wanted, to get there. So, yeah, I guess that would be my response.
We got a new quote from Meg Douty today. Okay. The other side of this question is and I won't say if, because so many young people, and not even young people, but so many people look up to you and find you as a role model. So what is one piece of advice or inspiration that you hope the people who are looking at you take from you and how you live your life?
I guess like compiling like kind of my entire story here of, just continuing to, work hard in everything you do. I think that's my biggest piece. You don't want to leave any doubt or regret, whether it's any sport you're playing or any activity or hobby or just moment of your life, is just go for it, right? Give your best, right? And, something good can come from it because you're trying, right? Whether that's, in lacrosse itself, you can find a way, many different ways to, show yourself in a certain light. But I think my work ethic from a young age has helped me get to where I am today. And it's just because I decided to sacrifice certain things in order to, continue to improve my game and my skill, and because I really liked it. And I think if you find that passion for something, whatever it is, you will find a way to make that your reality, whatever that reality is for you. But that was huge for me. Like I said, my parents didn't force anything upon me. They really were like, we want you to be happy, and like, we're just here to help you along the way. So if it's coming from you, you're going to figure it out. It can't be coming from anybody else.
Love that. Okay. We have one question from our KO17 fam. This one is from Kira Kirby on Instagram. And she would like to know, what is a skill or one or two skills that helped you become one of the greatest defenders ever?
I think it's my footwork and ability to change directions quickly. That's something that I focused on a ton throughout my high school. That stays with me. Just creating that muscle memory, but the ability to, use my natural speed and, controlling my footwork and change direction to try to keep up with Kylie on the crease. Like, that's, what has helped me become a great player. Yeah.
I'll be back out there soon, Meg. We can get some.
I know. I saw you running on the treadmill. It's great.
Okay. All right. We're going to end on a fun note, because I always like to do that, whether it's a clinic or a podcast or just a conversation. I like to end on a fun note. So this segment is called Quick Finishes. It's usually rapid fire questions. Some people take 3 minutes to answer each question. Some people take 10 seconds. So up to you, totally up to you, but some fun little questions that we're going to end the podcast with. You ready?
Perfect. Yep.
Tacos or pizza?
Pizza.
What's your favorite number and why?
I mean, 5 and 29 for different reasons.
Okay.
Do I have to say the reasons?
Yeah, sure.
well, Maryland is what I mean. My number of was 5 in Maryland, and then 29 was in US. So I won 2 championships in both of them, which is hard to say.
Man.
Well,
That's pretty hard,
but just different experiences.
That's that was such a cool that I won 2
and to think now, sorry, we're kind of cutting out. Oh, we're good now. Okay. And to think now I've been on the national team longer than I played in college is mind blowing.
Still such like power line you just said. I won 2 championships in both jersey numbers. Like, that's pretty sick. That is pretty sick. All right, what is one band or artist that you'd want to see in concert right now?
Oh, God, I'm so bad with music that I actually have been on the Chris Stapleton grind, so I could see him.
I love it. There you go. That's a good one. I just got his record.
Oh yeah,
vinyl record.
That's
player.
cool.
Fun thing. Who is an athlete that you'd like to follow for inspiration?
That's a good question. God, I'm so bad with like following people. I have to come back on that one.
Sure. If you didn't play lacrosse professionally, what sport would you want to play professionally? If it wasn't like your skills that you have, just like you like the sport, so you want to play it professionally.
Either ice hockey or tennis.
Ooh, that's cool. 2 totally different ones too. I like that. What's your go-to karaoke song? If you had to get up on stage and sing a karaoke song.
Get out of here. I don't sing.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. Probably like an NSYNC song.
Oh, I love that. Great answer.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite like sweet tooth or salty snack?
God, anything sour or chocolate or anything candy.
I love it.
I love Sour Patch Kids. So.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Where's your favorite place that you've traveled to?
That's big. I love Japan. Probably Japan. That was cool.
Just like once in a lifetime kind of situation.
Yeah, I'll probably never get back there.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, what's one thing on your bucket list?
Definitely want to travel more. So, gosh, I'd love to get to Italy. That would be awesome.
A lot of Europe countries.
That'd be fun to do a little traveling out there.
I think we just manifested your next vacation.
I think we're chasing that, right?
Oh, it's always how it goes on the Dream On Pod. We dream something, we're going to come up with a plan to make it happen.
Exactly right.
Oh man. Well, that's the last of our questions, and I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the Dream On Pod. I know it's, you know, kind of conversations that we've had over the last couple of years, but it's also some new conversations as well. I love getting to learn more about my teammates. And I know that a lot of our listeners also really appreciate it. So I'm grateful for your leadership in our sport. I'm grateful for, you know, having someone to follow in this entrepreneurship / player role that we both kind of just immersed ourselves in. So thank you for everything that you do. Thanks for being you, and thank you for coming on the Dream On Pod.
No, thanks for inviting me. This is great. And it's really special what you do, Kylie. So thanks for doing it. Keep doing it. And whatever else you need, I'm here.
Yeah. Love it. That's Meg Douty for you. Thank you, Dream On Pod listeners. We'll see you next time.